every second from that on, girl, you know you've held my poor heart captive. There was something in your eyes, something in that smile that lit a spark and set my soul on fire. And since that day, I've been yearning for the call, the sign that I've been waiting for. Ooh, baby, I am longing for your love. I want it all or nothing at all. 'Cause I won't stop now. Ooh, baby, I will hold my ground. No, no, I won't stop now. I'll keep on fighting till your love comes around. I am calling for you. I'm dying for your touch. I've been waiting and I'm still here waiting. But I know you'll come around. I can feel it in my heart. 'Cause my love will open up your eyes. And in my dreams, you are right here in my arms. Your lips I feel, your eyes I see. Ooh, baby, I am yearning for your touch. I want it all or nothing at all. 'Cause I won't stop now. Ooh, baby, I will hold my ground. No, no, I won't stop now. I'll keep on fighting till your love comes around. Ooh, yeah.
Buenos dias, amigos, and welcome to the second round of the F4 Spanish Championship certified by FIA. It's the second race of the weekend, and yet again we have some more drama to report going into this second race of the weekend, the first race of the day here at the Circuito de Navarra. For the third race in a row, the Dutchman René Lammers took the victory yesterday, only to see it snatched away with a post-race penalty. And for the third race in succession, it was the Polish driver Jan Piotrowski who was there to pick up the pieces. It's turning into lightning strikes 3 times in the same place for the Dutchman. So it's going to be an interesting race, this one, because we've got Thomas Struiven back on pole position for the 4th race in a row, as he will be starting from his grid position. Noah Montero, the only other man to deny Thomas Struiven a starting place in pole position for the grid. This, of course, is the second race of the weekend, which is determined, the starting grid positions, by the fastest laps from race number 1. And that means that Thomas Struiven, who was the fastest driver in race 1, gets to start from pole position. He's going to be joined on the front row of the starting grid by Jan Piotrowski, who's got a great chance to convert an actual victory over the course of this one. He has 3 wins out of the 4 races run so far. None of them, however, have been races in which he has crossed the line in first position. All of those were René Lammers' victory on the road. That puts René Lammers 3rd in the Drivers' Championship coming into this one with 60 points compared to Thomas Struiven on 63 and the championship leader Jan Piotrowski on 68. They're a long, long way ahead of the drivers fighting for 4th position in the championship. Hudson Schwartz, Noah Montero, Juan Cota, Nathan Tighe, Vivek Canthan, Ian Eichmans and Renaud Franco, all separated, along with Nicholas Schaffer and Andrej Petrovic, by just 15 points. Those incredible 9 drivers who are all battling away for 4th position in the Drivers' Championship, a full 31 points back from René Lammers in 3rd alone. So it's definitely a 3-man fight for the championship, but it's once again the 3 regular contenders that we have come to expect in that role that are running up at the sharp end. May the 4th be with you. It is Star Wars Day here at the Circuito de Navarra. There's been quite a few posts and social media going around about it. I wonder if there are a few cheeky stickers that have ended up on a few cars hidden under wing mirrors or under halos. They do tend to get quite imaginative, the creators of these fantastic liveries. The odd sticker here, the odd sticker there, and a personality can be made. Certainly down on the starting grid to chat to us very shortly is going to be Alex Garcia, our pit reporter, who has already been getting into the spirit. He's just like me, a proper Star Wars nut, as we watch the drivers going around on the reconnaissance laps. Now, this is going to be a different set of conditions compared to yesterday. Cooler, breezier, and the track is certainly getting hotter over the course of the day, but it's just coming up, just gone past midday here at the Circuito de Navarra, so running slightly behind schedule, but only by a couple of minutes or so, as the cars are getting themselves into their positions on the starting grid. It's quite a late call to the grid for the competitors in the F4 Spanish Championship, but they will get to line up in their positions with a Griffin core front row, Struiven versus Piotrowski on that front row of the grid, and an all-Dutch second row with René Lammers and Renaud Franco to the first corner. Now, I have a feeling that Renaud Franco could actually be a bit of a thorn in the side of René Lammers here. The Dutchman's been getting faster and faster all the time and genuinely has a chance of making steady progress. Down on the grid then, Alex Garcia has got all the inside information. Are we going to see a 4th race in a row, Alex, where René Lammers comes first but doesn't win the race?
Oh, Jake, I don't know. Of course, if I could tell you that, as I always say, I would be betting for the lottery. But this man, for sure, is going to try and prove that he can do it, prove that he's on the bright side of the force today, and hopefully that he can show the pace that he has shown so far this season, because we know that he's quick, we know that he can win. He just needs to do it without exceeding track limits, either when driving by himself or when fighting with any of his rivals. He was pretty confident after the race yesterday. Of course, when we talked to him after the race, we didn't yet know that he would have that penalty that ended up placing him in 2nd position. But well, starting from P3, I think after what we saw yesterday, we can say confidently that he's a candidate for everything. He can definitely aim for the win. We know that probably starting from the 6, 7, 8 first places on the grid, it is reasonable to expect a fight for the win if you're quick enough. So again, René Lammers, definitely a guy to look out for today.
My personal record for Star Wars references in one broadcast is 21, by the way, Alex, so you've got quite a lot of catching up to do, my friend. But what a way to start the broadcast. There's a couple of drivers that are going to be giving us a lot of entertainment in this second race. The rookie race, in particular, is definitely going to be one to watch out for. We saw both Noah Montero and Ian Eichmans really pushing each other in yesterday's race. It went right down to the line. But today, both Miguel Costa and Vivek Canthan are up for the scrap. So what are your predictions? Do you think it's going to be one of those races where one guy checks out, or could it go anybody's way between the four?
We have a very spicy class of rookies this year, so we can tell that even though they're not Jedi Masters yet, the young Padawans are definitely stepping up to the fighting with the big guys, and I'm convinced that they can fight even for outright wins. But yes, definitely we will have a lot of action today between the rookies. We had a lot of fun yesterday. We enjoyed them in the Winter Series as well. So I can say that, yeah, for sure. I expect and I hope and I look forward to them giving us as much of an exciting race as they did yesterday. That 3 wide that we saw, that was the stuff of legends.
Your midi-chlorians are off the scale, my friend. The inclusive of the word Padawans was very, very good. Right, we've got a lot of drivers trying to make up progress. What is it with the Red Bull Juniors? Chris Elfagali and Nicolas Schaufler, they were in a good position yesterday, but their lap pace was not particularly great. That means that Elfagali is only going to be starting 13th. Schaufler all the way back in 17th. This doesn't look like a fantastic race circuit for those two drivers. They're going to have to do all of their hard work out on the circuit. That's going to be tough around this place. Overtaking is actually pretty tricky here.
Yes, overtaking here is maybe not as easy as it would have been in Tatooine, but I can tell you that definitely it can be done. We saw that yesterday. There's at least a couple of reasonable spots for overtaking here in the main straight. Turn 3 is a good place. Then at the back straight is also definitely possible, especially after the changes made to the Circuito de Navarra after last year. So I think they can do it, but of course they will have to fight back from quite far. And I have to say I'm being perhaps a bit unfair, but I'm a bit disappointed with the performance of the Red Bull drivers this weekend. They could have done a little bit more. I would like them to do a little bit more because we know that they are talented, we know that they are quick, but there's something that's not clicking for them yet.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Two drivers with a lot of pressure on their shoulders. Thanks, Alex. The grid has been cleared. I'll let you go and play with your Mos Espa Lego Star Wars pod racing set. I'm sure you're in the mood for that. We'll get back to you if there are any major dramas through the course of the race. Gracias, mi amigo.
Thank you, Jake. We look forward to it.
Excellent stuff. Right, the drivers are on their formation lap, so they are dialing in the tyres and brakes, ready to get up to optimum temperature here at the Circuito de Navarra. 25 minutes plus 1 lap. That means there's only going to be 18 points on offer for the race victor, and only the top 9 cars that cross the line will score points, as opposed to the 10 cars that cross the line in race 1 and race 3. Thomas Straven and Jan Bashrovsky will be on the front row of the starting grid for this one, an all Griffin core front row. Then René Lammers in the MP Motorsport machine and Renault Franco in the KCL satellite car alongside him. Juan Cota lining up P5 of the grid. Noah Montero is the first of the rookies for Campos Racing. His teammates, Vivek Canthan and Miguel Costa, will share the 4th row of the grid. Then Ian Eichmans for MP and Nathan Ty for Rodin will round out the top 10 of the grid. 11th on the starting grid will be Mattis Reiber, who did a great job yesterday for Griffin Core. 12th on the grid alongside him will be Hudson Schwartz, the American. Then Chris Elfagali, the Lebanese driver, alongside Andrei Petrovic. Alfio Spina is going to be alongside Gino Trapper, the Argentine, who's hoping he's going to have a much longer race than yesterday. Essentially, he didn't have one after stalling on the grid, not going anywhere. Nicolas Schaufler lining up alongside Filippo Fiorentino. Then Francisco Monarca alongside Santino Panetta. And then Lorenzo Campos and Santiago Bastarrica. Sasha Van Bosch is alongside Nacho Tunion on the 12th row. Then Stepan Sustov alongside Kyoho Lee. Daniel Dalakian and Caden Higgins from Viktor Dobzhansky. Then Alexander Pogonovic and Alex Jacobi, who's also hoping for a longer race than yesterday after he ended up going off the road at the final corner and ending his race rather earlier than he would have liked. So the competitors are now getting themselves into position and dialed in around the course. It'll be a fantastic run as the drivers bear themselves into position. So it's been a very interesting first 4 races of the year, 3 of which have been won on the road by René Lammers, all 3 of which have then been gifted to the Polish driver Jan Bashrovsky from a post-race penalty. Now Stroven is going to be alongside Bashrovsky on the starting grid for this 5th race of the year. Are we going to see the tide turn in the case of the Griffin Core driver? on the racetrack rather than in the steward's office. René Lammers would certainly like to think he's got a chance of stealing the win away from both men on that front row of the grid. So Straven and Petrovsky in the Griffin Core cars. On the front row, the starting grid, Lammers in P3, Franco in P4, then Kota, Montero, Canthan, Costa, Eichmann's Ty, Reiber, Schwartz, Elfagali, Petrovic, Spina and Trapper, Schaufler and Fiorentino. From Monarca, Panetta, Campos, Bastarica, Van Bosch, Dunion, Suslov, Lee, Delakian, Higgins, Dobzhansky, Bogunovic and Jacobi. As all 31 cars are getting into position. This time there are no stalls to the grid. And it looks as though everybody is neat and tidy in position. We wait for the yellow flag to change to a green flag at the back. The lights will come on and we'll go for the second race of the weekend. There's the green flag at the back of the field. And so the engine revs will rise, the lights will come on. And when they go out for the second time this weekend, we'll be racing in the F4 Spanish Championship. Let's race to Navarra. It's a good start from pole position for Straven, but Lammers has got a better start than Petrovsky, and he's going to edge slightly ahead of him as they go down to the first corner. He's in front, so Lammers is through to second position behind the Belgian as they work their way through the first couple of corners. And René Lammers has done what he needed to out of the blocks. He's already charged his way through to second, as up the inside of Petrovsky. That is the hard-charging Renault Franco, trying to get himself into third position, as Juan Kota has to defend from fifth position. The Campos fleet is all over the place now as Ian Eichmann has managed to get ahead of Ty Schwartz and the slow starting Miguel Costa. They complete the first sector and Lammers has already done a lot of the hard work by getting ahead of Petrovsky. They go up the hill, bit of a slide through the apexes and a fantastic start to proceedings as now Thomas Straven has got a real headache with René Lammers breathing down his neck down the back straight. A couple of drivers running wide on the curbs there. Looks like a fast starting Chris Alfagali to already move his way up into 12th position. Schaufler's up to 14th. So the Red Bull Juniors definitely on the march. But can they keep it clean on the first lap as we go side by side? That's Nathan Ty and Hudson Schwartz. Schwartz is trying to hold his car right round the outside as the British driver tries to resist him. There's not a lot of room between them. They're on the grass as Hudson Schwartz tries to stay alongside Nathan Ty. But the British driver cuts across him in the braking zone. And that's furious stuff between the Rodin driver and the KCL MP man. So Hudson Schwartz has to bail out of it and let Nathan Ty have the corner. There's Chris Alfagali battling away with Andrei Petrovic and his fellow Red Bull driver Nicolas Schaufler. Although of course they're both running in very different race teams. Side by side, that is the 78 of Alfio Spina. For Thibaut Courtois Racing, we've got a slowing car down at the back of the field. I think having got off and now is accelerating back up to speed again. That is Francisco Monarca for the Monlaug team. So Francisco Monarca struggling to get himself back around, having had a bit of a difficult start to the race. He has come through, but he's lost about 20 seconds. So Straven, Lammers, Petrovsky, Franco, Kota, Canthan, Montero and Eichmann. The leading rookie is Vivek Canthan. The American has worked his way through from 8th on the grid. And look at the side-by-side action as Alfagali battles with Petrovic. Schaufler trying to come right round the outside the Austrian. Big lock up into turn one further back. But can Schaufler finish that move as he battles with Petrovic? He's got alongside him, and he's there. So a good move from Nicolas Schaufler. He's managed to work himself there in front of Andrei Petrovic. So the battle's still going strong. 22.5 minutes left of this race. And the battle's still raging as they go up the hill, through the sweepers. And then the field will make its way onto the back straight once again. René Lammers in front of Thomas Straven. He's got ahead. I missed where he made the overtaking move, but Lammers has got himself into the lead here. So this is going to be a much tougher race for Jan Petrovsky to win now that Lammers has already got himself into the lead of the race in front of Thomas Straven. He had a fantastic second split, and that's what put him back into the chase. So René Lammers is looking so confident now leading this race. Straven in second from Petrovsky, Franco, Kota, and Vivek Canthan into the gravel. That is Lorenzo Campos. So the Angolan Lorenzo Campos has gone into the gravel trap. That's going to bring out the safety car for sure, because he's quite close to the racing line there. Very unfortunate indeed, not just for Lorenzo Campos, but also for us. We were really enjoying the race battle as the Scalextric back driver, Lorenzo Campos, has come to a stop there. What's happened? Has he come into contact with somebody? Well, we've only seen the aftermath of the incident. We haven't really seen what created the incident. But Lorenzo Campos finds his car full of gravel. It's coarse, rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere, that gravel. There you go. That's my first Star Wars reference of the weekend. As into the next lap we go. No safety car, interestingly enough. Lammers ahead of Straven, Petrovsky, Franco and Juan Kota. Safety car now. Right, the safety car's been called. But that's a little bit too late because the drivers have just gone through the first corner. And so to call the safety car then, that's going to leave them out on the circuit with very little to do. So they're going to be tootling around. It's going to be a very slow lap. But there is Lorenzo Campos having got out of the car and run for safety at one of the marshal's posts. So the safety car is called, but the drivers had already started the next lap. So this is going to be a bit of an awkward clean-up job then. Sasha Van Bosch now finds himself down at the back of the field. So something's happened to Sasha Van Bosch. Problems as well for Francisco Monarca and for Caden Higgins. I think he's made his way into the pits and then made his way back out again. So there's the safety car who has just picked up Francisco Monarca, and coming out of the pits, that's the DXR of Caden Higgins. So that's not worked out in the favour of the organisers, has it? The whole field has gone past, and it's the back markers that have picked them up. So he's going to have to wave them through so that they can go and join the back of the field. And these guys have obviously got to keep a minimum delta, but they've also got to make sure they get back to the safety car in a relatively fast time. So it's going to be a bit of a delayed restart this. We're going to be behind the safety car for at least 2 laps now, just so that the safety car can cruise around and then the field can catch it up again. The timing of the deployment of the safety car, not fantastic, unfortunately. And that's what happens when a Toyota cruises. That is very much in hover mode there. So that's a very interesting situation for the safety car driver, who's basically on tick over as he waits for the field to catch them up again. But the crane lifts up the number 91 car of Lorenzo Campos, the Monlau Competition racer. Goodness me, they're not having a good day, are they? The Monlau team have already had Francisco Monarca into the pits and back out again. Lorenzo Campos is out of the race. The only driver that's really getting anything out of the Monlau competition car today is actually Alexander Jacobi, who ended his race early yesterday. So a good effort then from Alexander Jacobi to recover his position that he lost in yesterday's race. He actually started dead last and now finds himself in 23rd. So he's made up some progress at least. The drivers are now on the next lap of the safety car, as it were. So now they're going to try and catch up to the Toyota Supra, and now they have done so. There you go. That's how we do the safety car period. Safety car has caught up. The rest of the field, I should say, has caught up to the safety car. But looking at the way that the marshals are clearing the wreckage of Lorenzo Campos' car, I don't think this safety car is actually going to be out much longer. Technically speaking, this is the first lap under safety car because they started the second racing lap and then it went to safety car. So this is officially the first actual safety car lap, as it were. So an interesting one because they would have completed 2 laps and then gone on to the third. Then we got the safety car, so lap 4 is the first official full lap behind the safety car, and I think it might be the only one because the safety teams have already extricated Lorenzo Campos' car from the gravel. So it's actually going to work out in favour. Alex, what can you tell us down in pit road?
Well, basically, Nick, is what you were mentioning. The safety car was called perhaps a little bit late, and the teams were caught a little bit by surprise by that because they were just going through the main straight. So I think that was not maybe the most comfortable for the drivers, but well, you know, sometimes these kind of things happen, and they have to be, these calls have to be made even if they're a little bit late. Unluckily, we have a neutralized race right now, but the work on the track side continues quite quickly, so I should suppose that we will have a race restart pretty soon, and hopefully we can get everything back on the way. But surprised, maybe I shouldn't be, but surprised with the start of René Lammers, who has been as good at it as he usually is, so he's doing what he should be doing.
Certainly a bit of a rocket launch of a start, wasn't it, for René Lammers? They've gone around for a second lap under safety car conditions, Alex. One thing I do want to point out at this point is that we've got some very fast laps coming from the rookies, in particular Vivek Kanthan. What a start he's made up to this point, now leading the charge for the rookies. What a confidence booster that'll be for the young American.
Yes, and actually, Jake, if you remember also from the Spanish Winter Championship, he was already very quick in that, and he did very, very good performances on all 3 circuits. So we know that he can be quick, not just between the rookies, but he's able to fight for outright wins. So again, maybe we shouldn't be surprised, but it is still remarkable to see a rookie being, you know, so high up and doing such a good job. So again, another driver to look out for in this 2025. And, I was thinking, this is no Adam driver, but he's definitely a very competitive driver.
You're definitely beating me on the Star Wars points, mate. Keep it going. We will continue working our magic, and I need to do some more drop-ins. I need to do some more references, so I'll get working on it. Safety car is still out for the contenders out here on the course, and the drivers are going to be watching for those lights to go out on the safety car any moment now, as there is another Monlau competition car being wheeled into the garage. That is Francisco Monarca. So very unfortunate indeed for him, as one car goes off on the second lap. The other one has parked it in the garage with technical problems. So that is very unfortunate. Right, the safety car's making a break for it. Safety car in this lap. Here we go. We're going to go back to race conditions again, and René Lammers is trying to catch the opposition napping as they make their way up towards turn 15. Lammers has gone for it. So he's dropped the hammer with 3 corners to go. He wants to set up a good charge to the finish line. So René Lammers has gone for broke up towards 16. They go through the left, and then they will work their way up to the final turn. Good to get a good rhythm through those last 2 corners, because it really sets you up nicely for the final corner. And now they go down the main straight. And once again, folks, here in the F4 Spanish Championship, the second race of the weekend, the second round, it's green, 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 green here at Navarra. And into the lead we go for René Lammers. This time he does not want to lose his race win to a penalty. But track limits will always be investigated, and yesterday he came a cropper of them. Straven in second now from Petrovsky, Franco, Kota and Vivek Kanthan doing a great job, the American, as he leads the rookie race at the moment and is in P6 overall. He's actually dropped the 2 men behind him a little bit. Montero and Eichmanns are still dueling away over second in rookie and 7th overall. Nathan Ty and Hudson Schwartz still having their little tidy battle for 9th position. Then Costa, Elfagali, Schaufler, Petrovic, Spina, Reiber and Santino Panetta. Dropping down the hill out of 8 towards the back straight now, all the way towards turn 9. And Petrovsky, the master of tyre life, is going to need to try and find a trick or two to get back on terms with Thomas Straven. 13.5 minutes left of this race. As now at the inside, Red Bull on Red Bull. That's Schaufler getting on the inside. No, it's Elfagali getting on the inside to retake his position from Nicolas Schaufler. Schaufler had got him, and then Elfagali decided he wanted the place back again, as Juan Cota has a think about Renault Franco for P4. So now the 2 Red Bull juniors, who are in 2 different race teams for this Spanish F4 Championship, Schaufler with KCLMB and Elfagali with Drivex. But they are racing each other with no holds barred, and Schaufler has ended up falling back behind Andrej Petrovic once again. So that's 14th for the Austrian. He has a dive at the inside of Petrovic. Is there enough room? Not quite. He had a good think about it though, as he tried to get past the T-code driver. The T-code by Amtog racer Andrej Petrovic, who's now going wheel to wheel with Schaufler, trying to protect the inside line for the final hairpin and then get back on the power. Drifts out a little bit wide. One of the TC racing drivers further back, that's Santino Panetta, having a great race with Gino Trappa, who's finally unlocking the pace we knew him to have in the first place. That's Franco defending from Kota into turn 1. And now we've got a big challenge from Schaufler, trying to go right round the outside of Andrej Petrovic in the T-code by Amtog car. He's holding it round the far side. Big lock up from Elfagali, lock up as well from Petrovic. Oh, it's all even Steven stuff as they race wheel to wheel here at Navarra. No major changes for position, certainly up at the front 3. They're already well clear. This 2025 season really is going to be about the Dutchman, the Belgian and the Pole. Lammers, Straven and Petrovsky have already got well clear of the rest of the field. They're 2 seconds ahead of Renault Franco and Juan Cota. Down the back straight, settling into a rhythm now. The next couple of laps are all going to be about looking after tyres. They've got to manage these tyres a little bit further into the race before they can really make the gung-ho manoeuvre. Out of the pit lane goes one of the, I think that's one of the Mondau cars, isn't it? Going out, though, it's the Technicar of Nacho Tunion. So Nacho Tunion has left the pits, having had a visit to it, and he's now half a minute back from the rest of the field. So very unfortunate indeed for Nacho Tunion. Meanwhile, the battle is still going strong for 4th place between the Dutchman Renault Franco and the Spaniard Juan Cota, as Lorenzo Campos watches on in the Monlau garage, not the location he wanted to be in on lap 7. So up towards the penultimate corner, that fast-flowing left-hander, which also encompasses the pit entry up in the distance, then into the final turn. Tight right, back down the home straight again. And And a really exciting challenge as they go down the main straight. Lammers, Straven, Petrovski. There's nothing between the top three. 0.4 of a second is Lammers back to Straven. Petrovski another 0.6 back. So those three definitely clearing out. Vivek Canthan still running strong in front of Montero and Eichmanns, who are dueling away over second place. Eichmanns! Oh, what a catch that was from Ian Eichmanns. So nearly lost the car completely. That was a big power slide from the Belgian, and he manages to save the car from going on a wild rallycross ride through the gravel at turn 2. That was scary stuff, as the Technicar mechanics agree, following on through the first couple of corners. They're keeping their eye, of course, on Viktor Dobzhansky and Nashatunian. But a very tricky first couple of corners that was for Ian Eichmanns. How did he save that? That is one of the catches of the season. So down the back straight again. Lammers, Straven, Petrovski. Thomas Straven seeking his second victory of the season, having opened the year with a fairly convincing victory at Aragon. But since then, he's not really been in a position to take a victory. He's had podiums galore, but he's not really had the opportunity to go for the race win. Now, the top three drivers in the championship still fairly evenly matched in terms of points scored. Petrovski has 68, Straven has 63, and Lammers has 60. So they're all fairly even. A lot of investigations going on at Monlau for the number 25, Santiago Bastarica, I should say, having the problems on the first lap. I was wrong on both counts. It was Francisco Monarca. I will get it right. So out of the final turn. And the 23, Jan Petrovski, trying to close up on his Griffin Core teammate. The Belgian Thomas Straven. René Lammers is still the race leader, though. And crucially, still has the fastest lap of the race. In the background, we've now got Juan Cota having dropped back from Renault Franco. Clearly a mistake on that lap, and now we've got the two Campos cars going wheel to wheel for the victory in rookie, as well as to try and move up. There are no friends once they get out onto the grey circuit. Now Montero up the inside will get the move on Vivek Canthan, and it's beautiful. So the Portuguese talent moves ahead of the American Vivek Canthan, who's now got Ian Eichmanns pressuring him to get into second in the rookie class. And that will also be good enough to put him into 7th place in the race if he can get ahead. But Vivek Canthan is not going to concede any more than he has to. Up the climb, charging after Noah Montero, who's actually got a Skywalker connection, would you believe? That used to be the branding of his company, I do believe. So that actually works quite well. I don't really count that one as a Star Wars reference. That's just a fact rather than a cheap shot. Up the inside. Eichmanns having a look, locking up. Don't hit Vivek Canthan. And drifting wide. Contact as Nathan Tye goes around in a hairpin. And surely somebody is going to have to take a very wild ride around the outside to avoid him. His car is parked right in the middle of the racetrack. Hopefully nobody's going to hit him, because that is a very scary place to be. And Ian Eichmanns has a broken rear wing. So Eichmanns is going to have to retreat back to the pits. Well, it all got way too close for comfort, and now Hudson Schwartz is trying to get ahead of the Belgian, who will have no traction in the rear. How did everybody miss Nathan Tye? That is absolutely incredible. Nathan Tye having spun out in the middle of the race circuit, and although he got clipped into that spin, nobody else hit him. Great work for the drivers. Ian Eichmanns has missed the pit entry. So maybe he doesn't know just how badly damaged his rear wing is. Now, if he keeps going, he's surely going to get a technical flag, because there's no way that that car is going to be safe and race-worthy for the rest of this race. It's got panels on the car flapping from the rear ring, and they're going to detach into turn 1 if he's not careful. Meanwhile, behind him, he's got Costa and Alfagali going wheel to wheel. They've got to be careful how closely they follow Eichmanns, because if anything falls off that rear wing, it's going to go under their car. So Eichmanns has now got Alfagali behind him, because Chris Alfagali making another brilliant move, and that puts him into 10th place. Side by side, that's Petrovic going wheel to wheel with Migi Costa now. So further up the road, Vivek Canthan got away with all that and now gets the chase after Noah Montero without too much issue. But Ian Eichmanns is still hanging on to his car. Look at the rear wing. Absolutely destroyed from the pillar. And yet Ian Eichmanns has still got a fair amount of pace in his car. There's not a lot of downforce these cars generate, because they're generally quite light compared to their Formula One counterparts. So if you lose your rear wing in Formula One, you are going for a massive accident in the next apex at full speed. In Formula 4, you don't actually put that much downforce on the circuit in these light and nimble cars. So Ian Eichmanns clearly feels, well, look, I'm currently running in rookie. I've got Alfagali behind me. I could still get a trophy out of this race. I'm not parking this one. I'm going to keep going. So through they go. The next section continues. And still, we've got a very tight race here between Eichmanns, Elfagali, Costa, Petrovic, Schaufler, Spina, Reiber, and then in there as well, Trapper and Fiorentino, with Santino Panetta not massively far behind. So now Chris Elfagali desperately trying to get himself onto the podium in the rookie category. He picked up one of those yesterday, of course. Now he's trying to look for another one. Meanwhile, Noah Montero is catching Juan Cota. I think Cota's got major tyre degradation issues here. He's losing all sorts of time. He hasn't got the wherewithal to make these moves. So he's just having to pace himself rather carefully at the moment. Out of the right-hander. So this could be very interesting on the way down the short stretch to turn 5. They'll climb up the hill once again. How is Ian Eichmanns still pacing this car? Into the pits. We've got someone in pit road. That is Daniel Dalakian. So the Armenian for the GRS team having a real problem. That's unfortunate for the very likeable young Armenian, Daniel Dalakian. Was always a very good friend of mine in the world of karting. I could always guarantee when I walked through the gates, if somebody was going to tap me on the shoulder and say hello, it was always going to be Daniel Dalakian. It's up to the hairpin. Noah Montero just trying to coax the car through. Still chasing Juan Cota. Still looking good for a rookie win, but only if he doesn't get into the wars with the man in front. So Juan Cota desperately trying to work his magic here on the inside. It's not going to be easy to make those moves. Through they go. Vivek Canthan still chasing down Noah Montero. Then Schwartz. Then Eichmanns, Elfagali, Costa, Petrovic, Schaufler, Spina, Reiber, Trapper, Fiorentino, Panetta and Lee. That's how close it is all the way down the field. As up onto the inside, that's a fairly vague manoeuvre from Miguel Costa trying to get on the inside of Chris Elfagali. And he's not been able to make that work. So now he's got pressure from Alfio Spina. Oh, sorry, that's Schaufler trying to deal with Alfio Spina. Side by side. Careful, guys. Get the car turned through the radius. As Schaufler has to bail out of the throttle and let Petrovic hold the run. But look at this snake of a car set down the straight. Led by Chris Elfagali. Trying to stay with Eichmann side by side to the turn. This could be an interesting one as they go into the first corner. Wrestling for position as the 19 of Matas Reiber has to cope with a big pressure cooker. Alfio Spina locking up. There's a car spun. There's a car spun in the middle of the road. So someone's gone. Is that Noah Montero or is that Vivek Canthan? But certainly someone up at turn 3 has pirouetted the car around. It's the 5. That is disastrous. That is Miguel Costa. So Miguel Costa right in the hunt of that top 10. And the Brazilian has pirouetted around. The big question is, can he keep going? Because if he can't, this race is going to finish on a safety car. And that is horrendous news for Thomas Strauven and Jan Piotrowski, who really wanted to take René Lammers on. Fiorentino was able to make the move on that last sector of Matas Reiber. Well done. Good boy, Miggy. Miguel Costa didn't want to drop to the back of the field, but we didn't want to end this race on a safety car. So well done to Miguel Costa, who recovers just in front of Nacho Tunion. That's game over for this race for Miguel Costa. But we are denied a safety car finish to this race. Thank goodness for that. Nobody likes a safety car finish. It's like kissing your brother on the cheek at a wedding. You've got to do it sometimes, but it's not exactly pleasurable. Through to the left-hander. Working their way through. Now the leading trio still get to race to the finish line. They've got another 3 laps to go by my maths as René Lammers crosses the line now with 2 minutes 10 on the clock. On the lap times they're doing are in the 1:46s. So I would estimate that we've got 3 laps to go. And Thomas Strauven is definitely going to work hard. And Eichmanns has finally pitted. So Ian Eichmanns has finally realised how much he's got in the way of damage. Just want to know if he was actually called into the pits. Yes, black and orange flag, car number 4. So he was called into the pits by the officials. So a technical flag then, I'm afraid, for Ian Eichmanns. His race is over. Certainly in the fight for the victory or even a podium finish in the rookie category. But it's the Campos teammates, Noah Montero and Vivek Canthan, that will battle for that result. So there are the top 3. Lammers, Strauven, Piotrowski. In the background, that is Franco. Then Cota, Montero and Canthan. So the Campos Racing rookies are going to fight for the victory in the rookie category, but they've both got Juan Cota to deal with. There they are. So Noah Montero in front of his teammate Vivek Kanthan, then Hudson Schwartz, then a big gap back to El Fagali, and then we've got a great train led by Alfio Spina. So good recovery from Alfio Spina in the TC racing car. Excellent work from him at the moment to work his way further forward. Is down the inside. That's a big lunge on the inside of one of the remaining Monlau cars. That is Stepan Suslov trying to get through there on Alexander Jacobi. So Stepan Suslov, the Swedish driver, wants to make his move on the inside for the DXR team. And they're still racing side by side, those two. It's not just at the front that you get great racing, you get it in the midfield as well. Here comes the leading trio, though. They're going to have a handful of seconds when they cross the line. But that still gives Thomas Strauven 2 laps to do something about the Dutchman, René Lammers, who has the fastest lap of the race as they come across the line this time. Looking at the lap times, well, there's nothing dramatic about the way that Strauven is putting pressure on Petrowski. He's not actually going that much quicker than him at any point on the course. Not much between them at all on the last lap, but certainly for the moment, René Lammers looking like he's got this race pretty much sewn up as long as he keeps it on the island. 3, 2, 1, that is time. So time is up, and that means that the race is now going to come to the end of this lap, and then one more to go. And René Lammers, this time, looks like he's going to be in a good position. Now, I want to have a look at the race control notes to see how many people have been given warnings for track limits. Well, I don't think they've actually put them on the race control notes anymore because there are so many that they have to deal with. They've got a separate system now for track limits incurred. So that's obviously going to be the course of their priority after the race. That's how we found out that Jan Lammers wasn't the winner of race number 1, despite the fact he crossed the line first, much to the frustration of many people, none the least of whom, of course, is René Lammers himself. So the competition going very close together in the top 3 still. Lammers, Strauven, Petrowski. But it looks like it's going to be stalemate to the flag. 4th position for Renault Franco, then Juan Cota in P5 from Noah Montero, Vivek Kanthan and Hudson Schwartz. And then we'll have Chris Alfagali in front of Alfio Spina and Nicolas Schaufler. So Nicolas Schaufler is desperately trying to come up with a rookie podium, but he needs to get ahead of Spina and Alfagali in order to do that, and I think he's going to run out of time. Out of the final corner comes René Lammers, and the last lap board will be shown on the starting gantry just out of our shot as we go into the last lap of race 2. And they'll have one race to go after this one in a couple of hours' time. But this is where it's all going to come good for René Lammers if everything goes according to plan. He's crossed the line in first position 3 times this year, and on all occasions, his race has ended in a penalty that has handed the race to Jan Petrowski. If that happens again, at least tradition will be broken because it will be Thomas Strauven in second place, not Jan Petrowski, unless, of course, he gets a penalty as well. We're rather hopeful nobody's going to get a penalty this time. After race 1 yesterday, quite a few drivers did. So we're hoping that today the track limits penalties will be minimal. Strauven struggling for grit. Jan Petrowski on the last lap is going to challenge his Griffin Court teammate. And don't forget that even though they're teammates, there are no team orders in the world of F4 racing. And this is going to make a massive difference in terms of the championship. Wait a minute. Is that a missing front wing panel? It is a missing front wing panel for Thomas Strauven. He's missing a section of his rear wing. So I don't know what's happened there to Thomas Strauven, but something's come off his wing. Now that is devastating for Strauven, and that's why he's struggling now to keep Jan Petrowski at bay. I didn't see what happened, but Thomas Strauven has definitely lost a section of his rear wing. I don't know whether there was contact. There it is. So that came off at the end of the main straight. That is baffling, as Thomas Strauven now has to limp back to the finish line with a piece of his wing missing. So Jan Petrowski is going to be all over him. He'll go round the far side. Thomas Strauven tries to protect. Doesn't leave a lot of space. Petrowski will still be there to his inside line. He'll go through the left-hander and surely finish off that move as René Lammers will cruise to the victory. That's more like it for the Flying Dutchman. René Lammers sees the checkered flag here at the Circuito de Navarra and takes the victory in the second race of the weekend. Surely this time he will not be denied as we go side by side for second. Strauven's just going to cross the line ahead of Petrowski. Oh my goodness me, the Belgian just hangs on to it. Franco is 4th, Cota is 5th, and Noah Montero picks up the rookie win by half a second to Vivek Kanthan with Schwartz, Alfagali, and then Alfio Spina. Alfagali will take the final point as well as the final podium in the Rookie Cup. What a crazy second race in the F4 Spanish Championship for so many different reasons. My goodness me, 2 drivers losing sections of their front wing, couple of drivers spinning out. And let's see what happened into turn 1. There it goes. Oh my word. That must have been terrifying for Jan Petrowski, because that could have very easily gone back into his nose cone. That could have broken his car. What a terrifying moment for Thomas Strauven and for Jan Petrowski following as well. I've never seen anything quite like that before in an F4 race. I've seen it a couple of times in IndyCar, seen it a couple of times in Formula One, when the wing just parts company with the car. I wonder if Strauven had any contact prior to that happening, or whether the bolt just came loose. Whatever it might have been, that's not something that tends to happen to this particular chassis, but, well, fascinating situation there for the drivers. That's a very unusual scenario. I don't expect to see that kind of thing. But anyway, that's exactly what has occurred. And so the contenders will limp back to the pits. Some of them will have slightly lighter cars than they started with. No names mentioned, Thomas Strauven. Whoops. So now he's got to work his way back to pit lane with a little bit less of his car than he started with. But for René Lammers, surely this is the moment when he finally gets to say, I've won a race in the F4 Spanish Championship in 2025. In his mind, and in reality, he knows he's done it 3 times this year, only for penalties to take it away from him at the last. He must be getting out of the car in a moment thinking, surely this one's mine. Surely I can't have another win taken away from me. He'll certainly pull up in the number 1 position, as always, in the last 4 races. And the MP team will be delighted that they picked up another victory. Provided, of course, it stays that way. But in the F4 Spanish Championship in 2025, you don't say you've won the race until the race officials declare it. But they're certainly very happy. They're celebrating as if they've won the championship. Never mind the race, as here comes the very happy René Lammers into pit lane. Short time, there's not going to be any doubt, as the Dutchman pulls clear and gets himself a 3-second gap at the checkered flag. What are his emotions going to be when he gets out of the car? This time, surely, René Lammers is a race victor. The bicep is strong on his right side. Dare I say it, it is Star Wars Day. The Force is strong with this one. There you go, Alex Garcia. That's a point to me. So René Lammers delighted with his success in the MP Motorsport car, ahead of Thomas Strauven and Jan Petrowski. And there is his father, Jan Lammers, onto the scales quickly to make sure that he's the legal weight. The last thing you want is to have it taken away for being underweight at the last. And the Griffin Core boys battling wheel to wheel to the end with Strauven's wing missing. Look at those tyres on René Lammers' car. That shows you the degradation levels on this Circuito de Navarra circuit in the hot temperatures here in Spain. That tyre looks absolutely spent. I've got a Matchbox car that I bought in 1997 with tyres that look like that. Absolutely disgraceful condition, and that just shows you the tyre degradation on the Nevada circuit. The rear tyres look relatively okay by comparison, but the front tyres taking a lot of punishment on this circuit. So it'll be fascinating to hear what the winner has to say. Once again, Alex Garcia is going to find René Lammers in the hope that this time the win stays with the Dutchman. But he's certainly getting out of the car and taking his helmet and hands device off as if he is comfortable with the way that race went. Photograph opportunity with the number 1 placard. And René Lammers gets out of the car. He seems relatively happy with that. I don't think there's any cause for concern. Let's find out how he's feeling with Alex Garcia.
René, I have to congratulate you, and I have to say, at this point, this is a matter of honor. You win, and you win, and you win again. Surely this time is the one that sticks.
Yeah, I mean, if they take this one away, I really don't care. I mean, I've won every single race for the past few weeks, so I'm very happy with the job we've done again. Got a good start and then a good dive on Strava to win once again. So I don't think there's anything they can give me a penalty for now, but I'm really happy to get this, and the team gave me an awesome setup to get this, so thank them.
And once again, the performance on track was fantastic. You felt comfortable, you ran away with it. and that must give you a lot of confidence for the third race of the weekend. It seems maybe on dry track still.
Yeah, I mean, the pace now is good, a lot better compared to yesterday with degradation-wise and all that stuff. So I think now the pace is very good, but we don't know what the weather will bring us for race 3 soon. So we'll see if we're gonna have to put wets or slicks on. But I'm confident in both conditions, so I'm ready to get going.
All right, Rene, congratulations, and well, let's see if hopefully this one sticks, because you definitely deserve it.
Thank you very much.
So this was the race winner for this race 2 in the Spanish Formula 4 Championship. And well, Jake, I have to say, you need to have the force on your side, but you also need training. And René Lammers definitely followed on the advice from Master Yoda. As you know what he says. There is no try, do or do not. And he chose to do it.
Very nicely done indeed from René Lammers. So I've already had Josh Wilson, actually, one of our followers on the YouTube screen, and YouTube stream, it should be. I did scream a little bit, I suppose, during the race. He says to me, Jake, if you jinx it, I swear to God. Oh dear, it's been one of those seasons, hasn't it? But yeah, I think René Lammers is right. But interesting comment there from him, Alex, to say, if the stewards take this one away from me, I don't even care anymore. That's a very interesting comment to make for a driver who knows he's done everything he possibly can right and just can't catch a break. Surely, though, this is the turning point and he can finally claim something from this race and this season.
Honestly, I think it should be, because we've seen that the race was very, very clean from his side. So, again, I think his comment was more on the side of, I've won the race, I've shown that I can do it. And, at the end of the day, I think drivers understand that, yes, you need to win and you want to win and you want those points. But these feeder series, they are also important to show what you can do. And so in a sense, yes, he doesn't care that much because he's shown that he can do it on track. So whatever happens after that, especially as a racing driver, it's not maybe that important compared to maybe in future categories or in future years. Because again, the most important is showing that you're quick. And he is definitely quick. But I think, again, Jake, I'm repeating myself, but I think that this one is definitely the one that's going to stick. I hope that we're not jinxing it, because if we do, we will have shown the biggest commentator's curse ever that I can imagine.
Yeah, as far as René Lammers is concerned, we're going to be the dark side of the force. Thank you very much, Alan. We'll come back to you for race number 3. We're going to go to the podium ceremony now for the drivers who are there waiting. And it's the same 3 flags on the podium that we have seen almost every single race so far this year. Certainly the top 3 drivers in terms of the championship standings. Yes, we can see you. We're ready. We're ready for the podium ceremony as much as you guys are. But it's the same 3 flags: the Dutch flag, the Belgian flag, and the Polish flag. And these are going to be essentially the 3 nations that will dominate the F4 Spanish Championship 2025, the way that the first 5 races of the season are anything to go by. It's been a fascinating duel leading up to this point. A victory for René Lammers, surely this time. But the victory puts him on 18 points more, so that puts him up to 78 points. There's going to be 15 points on the board for Thomas Strauven in second. That's going to elevate him to 78, would you believe? And then for coming home in third, Jan Bashrovsky is going to be on 80 points. So there's going to be just 2 points now between the top 3 drivers heading to the third and final race of the weekend. What a championship battle this is turning into between these 3 drivers. I swear, it is one of the most exciting that we've seen for a long time. Ian Eichmann's there. Now, there's an interesting subplot in this race. They think there's going to be an investigation into Miguel Costa, the Brazilian driver who spun off during the race. But earlier than that, the damage that was caused to Ian Eichmann's and the spin that came from Nathan Ty's Rodin, that's almost certainly going to have an investigation response from race control onto the Brazilian Miguel Costa. Very unfortunate incident. He just saw a gap and went for it. And as a Brazilian, he will obviously have been under the tutelage of the grandest of the Yodas, Ayrton Senna, who always used to say, if you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver. So he obviously saw an opportunity, wanted to take it. So he will now try to defend himself, I'm sure, in the steward's room. They are down in the holding area at the podium. Bit of post-race conversation between the rookie drivers as well. As to the podium goes Jan Bashrovsky. The winning team representative is already there for MP Motorsport. Thomas Strauven for Griffincorp will take his position in P2 of the rostrum. And then the top step of the podium will be taken again by the Dutchman René Lammers. The fourth race in a row he will stand on the top step of the podium. Hopefully this time, this is the one that will be permanently etched. So great performance from the Dutchman. He knows in his mind what he's done. Even if the stewards do take this one away, it's not going to bother him one iota. 2 points between the top three drivers in the championship. Bring on the fight. Bring on the Dutch national anthem while we're at it. Get used to the sound of that anthem in the F4 Spanish Championship. René Lammers is going to win as many races as he possibly can. This might end up being the first official win, but he's done it 4 times now on the road. And he is definitely a man who it's going to be very difficult to catch over this season. That is for sure. Victory and the winning trophy for the team goes to MP Motorsport. Third position for the Polish sensation, Jan Piotrowski. Rather quiet race for him. I think his best is going to come in the third and final race encounter of the weekend. He's still got plenty to give us in the closing stages here at Los Arcos on the Circuito de Navarra. So the trophy for third position for Jan Piotrowski. He's building a nice collection of trophies. This one isn't a first place trophy, and even if René Lammers does get the victory taken away from him, it won't be a winning trophy for Piotrowski, because it could be a winning trophy for this man, Thomas Strauven of Belgium. He did that in the first race of the season at Aragon, and he's certainly hoping to put himself back into that position once again, many times as possible in 2025. But there is our race victor, and very deserving of the winning trophy, René Lammers. Surely he knows this time it won't be taken away. And now the championship fight between Jan Piotrowski on 80 points and Thomas Strauven and René Lammers on 78 is going to just keep getting stronger over the course of these races. We're going to see so much more battles, great duels, and fantastic racecraft. It's going to be a mega season as it continues to develop. But the championship will continue to grow as the drivers are there in position on the podium. I don't know how much they want to spray each other. Well, a couple of them not have any decent sets of overalls to get back into if they spray each other. So that is a rather nasty moment for the Griffincorp drivers. Please don't spray me. I've got to use this race suit again later on. Oh dear. Well, that rivalry is going to continue into the third race this afternoon. Still they battle, still they race, still René Lammers chases that essential first victory officially in the Spanish F4 Championship. We'll be back in a couple of hours for the third and final encounter of the second weekend of 2025 here at Los Arcos on the Circuito de Navarra. Bye for now.